It's already writing your emails, it's creating images you see online, and it might just be driving the car in the lane next to you. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is here, and it is evolving at a absolutely breathtaking pace. So let's just dive right in and decode the technology that's really reshaping our world. Right, we hear the term AI thrown around constantly. But how does a machine actually learn to see, or to write, or even to reason? That's the big question we're going to tackle today. So to really get a handle on modern AI, think of it like an onion. Seriously, the big outer layer is just artificial intelligence. That's the whole broad concept of making machines smart. And inside that, you've got machine learning. Then you get to neural networks, and right there, at the very core, that's the engine driving today's revolution, deep learning. And that's exactly where we're going to focus. Okay, so let's start peeling and really define the concept that's at the heart of all this. Here's the key thing to get. Deep learning isn't about painstakingly programming a computer with a million if-then rules. Nope. It's about building a system, what we call a neural network, that can actually learn on its own just by consuming enormous amounts of data. Think of it less like giving direct instructions and more like pattern recognition, kind of like how we all learned as little kids. All right, so now that we know what it is, let's get to the really, really cool part, how it all works. How in the world does a machine learn to process information in a way that feels almost, well, human? Well, the whole design is actually inspired by the most powerful computer we know of, the human brain. On the right, you've got this dense, incredible web of biological neurons. And on the left, its artificial counterpart. Each one of those dots is like a neuron or a node, and the lines are the connections between them. Information literally flows through this network, getting processed and refined at every single layer. But how does that network even get the information in the first place? Okay, let's take a super simple task, like recognizing a handwritten number. To you and me, that's a 4. Easy. But to a computer, it's just a grid of pixels. In this case, it's a 28 by 28 grid, which is 784 individual pixels. And each one of those pixels gets fed into the network as a piece of data. Just a number that represents how bright it is. And this is where the magic happens. You can almost watch the data flow. The first layer of neurons takes in all that pixel brightness. Then, through these hidden layers of really complex calculations, the network starts to recognize patterns. Curves, straight lines, where things intersect. Each layer makes a slightly better guess, and then passes its conclusion to the next. And finally, the output layer makes its decision. Look at that. The neuron for the number 4 is firing up with the highest confidence. It has, for all intents and purposes, learned to see. Now, this idea of networks that can learn, it isn't brand new. For decades, it was a pretty niche academic field. So what happened? What changed? Well, a few key breakthroughs in just the last decade took this technology and basically lit a rocket under it, turning it from a curiosity into a global phenomenon. Let's look at the moments that lit the fuse. It really kicks off in 2012. A model called AlexNet just dominates this huge image recognition competition, proving that deep learning could see way better than any method before it. Fast forward to 2017, and the transformer architecture gets introduced. This was the game changer that unlocked AI's ability to truly understand the context and nuance of language. And that led directly to 2022, when ChatGPT was released, putting the power to generate human-like text into pretty much everyone's hands. So you have seeing, then understanding, and now creating. But look, this isn't just a story about technology. It's a story about us. So let's zoom out and see how this is already changing the world we live and work in right now. The impact on the workplace is, well, it's undeniable. A major analysis shows that jobs in IT, finance, and customer sales are already being significantly changed or automated. I mean, look at this. A staggering 73% of tasks in IT are seeing a large impact. This isn't science fiction anymore. It is our current economic reality. But it is so crucial to see the other side of this coin, because AI isn't just about automation. It's about augmentation. It's a tool that can help scientists forecast weather with way more accuracy or assist students with personalized learning plans. And it's giving artists totally new ways to express their creativity. It's actually becoming a collaborator. So how do you make this new partner actually work for you? Well, the secret is all in how you ask. You've got to be specific. Instead of just saying, give me a summary, ask for a summary for a specific audience, like a fifth grader. Give it a role to play. Tell it to act as a world-class travel agent or historian. Give it context. And most importantly, don't be afraid to refine your requests if the first shot isn't perfect. You have to remember, it's a conversation, not just a command. So there we have it. We've peeled back the layers of the AI onion, from the big idea all the way down to the code and its impact on our lives. We've gone from this abstract concept of an artificial brain to real, practical tips you can use today. So the only question left is the most important one. Now that you understand the engine, where are you going to drive it?